Hello, good afternoon, class. This afternoon, we will be continuing the discussion of our property, plant, and equipment, chapter 2, with regards to Miss Robles' book, Intermediate Accounting, part 2. Okay, so last meeting, we already discussed the initial part of our PPE. So later, we will be discussing the depreciation, which is the last topic that will be included in our midterm exam. Okay, so but before that, let's have first a quick recap of what we have already discussed in our chapter 2, with our chapter 2. So first is we already discussed the definition and nature of PPE, how it is measured initially at recognition, different items of PPE, and also the modes of acquisition. So uh, what is PPE again? We've mentioned it is a tangible asset held for use more than one period. And then it is measured initially at cost, of which si cost, meron siyang tatlong element. So we have the purchase price, directly attributable cost, and also the dismantling cost. Of which kapag dismantling cost yung pinag-uusapan natin, ayun yung value ng property at the end of its sa dismantling cost pala rather, ito yung the value na gagastusin natin para ma-restore yung location na pinaglalagyan ng PPE natin. So, if that's the case, so yung present value ang i-add natin sa initial value ng PPE natin na merong dismantling cost. Okay, so we already discussed the specific items of PPE. So first is the land. And then if merong improvements sa land na permanent, so land din siya papasok. And then kapag meron namang improvement sa land na hindi permanent, so papasok siya sa land improvement. And then sa building, so na-discuss natin naman dito, merong scenario dito na, for example, bumili ka ng land na may kasamang building. So if they both have value na mapapakinabangan pa or magagamit pa talaga is yung purchase price i-allocate mo sa kanilang dalawa based on the fair value. Pero if yung land binili mo with a dilapidated building, so yung purchase price na ginastos mo for that would be lahat yun magiging value ng land since dilapidated nga si building. While kapag mayroon ka namang building sa land and then at the same time yung building na yun you need to demolish so yung to give way for a new building. So kung ano yung demolition cost mo or yung demolition cost mo, you need to add that at sa value nung ating bagong construction. Okay? And at the same time, any proceeds sa mga mabebenta mong scrap mula sa demolition is i-record mo siya as other income. Okay? Hindi na siya binabawas dun sa demolition cost bago mo i-capitalize sa bagong value ng building. Okay? So we also discussed the leasehold improvement of which ito yung improvements na ginagawa ni lessee sa nirentahan niyang property from the lessor. Okay? So siya ay dinidepreciate shorter between the lease term and also the useful life of the asset. So shorter between them. And then also si equipment, na-mention din natin yan. So yung mga machines, furniture and fixtures. And then natural resources. So other term would be wasting assets, no, na nagde-deteriorate siya dahil yung kina-harvest nila ay in that case yung harvest nila or yung kinukuha nilang benefit from the said natural resources uh would be harvested through physical exhaustion. So kaya tinatawag siyang wasting asset. And also next naman is si bearer plant. So na-mention na natin yan sa bio asset natin. So nag-depreciate din siya, no? So next naman is so, na-discuss din natin previously, ano ba yung modes of acquisition? Kumbaga, paano ka nagkakaroon ng PPE? So, sinabi natin doon, pwedeng through cash, deferred payment, issuance ng securities, equity securities, or pwedeng donate, kinonstruct yung asset, and also pwedeng nirentahan. So, yun yung tinatawag natin right of use. And then, last would be exchange of non-monetary asset. Okay? So kapag cash purchase, so initially kung magkano yung binayad mo to acquire that asset, yun yung gagamitin mo. And then kapag lump sum, you need to allocate based on the best indicator of relative fair value. And then kapag deferred payment naman, ang magiging value mo is kung may given na ECP or equivalent cash price, yun na yung value niya. Pero kapag hindi binigay, doon na papasok yung you have to compete for the discounted future cash payment of prevailing rate. So, yun yung scenario kapag merong parang ano siya, installment payment plan or merong long-term na note. Pero kapag available cash discount lang yung meron, di ba na-mention natin, all discounts should be deducted whether taken or not initially at the purchase or acquisition date. Okay? So, equity securities issuance, so i-record natin siya first. Priority is fair value ng equipment received. Kapag wala naman yun, edi fair value ng equity instrument granted. Okay? Any excess sa par nung fair value na yun would be considered as share premium. Okay? So, kapag donated naman yung PPE mo, so yung fair value to date of donation, yun yung magiging value ng PPE mo. And then, depende na lang kung anong credit mo. Depende kung shareholder, edi share premium yung credit mo. Pero kapag ang nag-donate, non-governmental unit, sabi dito, liability first, dapat yung credit mo, kung conditional, pero kapag na-meet yung condition, you can put that na as revenue or gain. While kapag government naman yung nag-donate. So initially, deferred credit account mo yung credit mo doon, pero you will have to recognize it as income over the period the related costs for it are recognized. Okay? So na-discuss din natin yung self-construction na may dalawa kang concern, allocation ng manufacturing overhead, and yung borrowing cost natin or interest due to borrowing cost. Okay? So pag borrowing cost, may tatlo yan. Pwedeng specific lang, pangalawa, pwedeng general lang, and then pangatlo, specific, tsaka general. So kapag specific lang, edi kung ano yung actual interest dun sa specific borrowing na yun throughout the construction period. And then bawas yung any interest income sa temporary investment nung borrowing mo na yon. Pangalawa, general borrowing, may dalawa kang gagawin. So, una, kukumpitin mo yung actual interest cost dun sa general borrowing during the construction period. And then yung pangalawa, kukumpitin mo yung WAE times yung weighted average interest rate dun sa general borrowing. Compare mo sila, whichever is lower, yun yung capitalizable mong interest. Okay? Any excess, magiging, ano na yun, interest expense. Next, kapag both specific and general borrowing, you have to do both yung na-mention natin kanina. Siyempre, yung specific, you have to compute for the actual interest on that less any interest income. And then kapag general borrowing, compute mo yung actual interest on the general borrowing compared with WAAE, pero less dapat ng specific borrowing. And then times weighted average interest rate on general borrowing. So, ganun lang siya. So, actual na specific plus yung lower between actual tsaka WAAE or weighted average, yun yung magiging total na capitalizable interest cost or expense mo dun sa self-constructed asset natin. Okay? So, lease contract. So, this would be discussed in your end act 3. Pero since in act 2 pa lang tayo, so most likely ang tatanong or gigibigay lang sa atin dan is yung mga given na to, wala ka nang kakompetent. Okay? So, yan daw yung mga nagiging capitalizable as ROU or right of use assets sa books ni lessee. So, yung cash at or before lease commencement, lease liab, initial direct cost incurred by the lessee, and then yung dismantling ulit. And then kapag non-monetary asset exchange, so may dalawa ka lang kailangan tandaan dan. So kapag may commercial substance, you have to measure it at fair value of asset given up less cash received plus cash paid. Pero pag wala yung fair value of asset given up, kung ano yung fair value ng asset received, yun yung magiging value niya. While kapag walang commercial substance, so ang next, pag walang commercial substance, ang value mo naman, carrying value naman ng asset given up, less cash received plus cash paid. So kapag lacks commercial substance, wala kang gain or loss kasi ang gain or loss nag-aaray sa difference na carrying value ni asset versus its fair value. Okay? So kapag walang commercial substance, wala tayong gain or loss on exchange. Okay? So much with that, with our recap. So let's proceed with our next topic, which is what we call depreciation. So in your basic accounting or principles of accounting, you already discussed depreciation. Okay? So ano ba si depreciation? So 'di ba kapag nabili ka ng equipment, ang initially sa basic accounting, nire-record mo siya as asset, hindi mo siya ine-expense. Kasi ang theory doon is si equipment na yun, magagamit mo for a long period. Pero hindi ibig sabihin nun, hindi ka mag-expense related to that. So magkakaroon ka pa rin ng expense related to that through the process of depreciation. Okay? So depreciation is the process of allocating the depreciable amount of an asset over its useful life in a systematic and rational manner. So, ang figures na kailangan mo i-consider in computing depreciation, we have four. First is the cost or revalued amount. Yung revalued amount, we will be discussing that after the midterm as week natin kasi ito ay part 2 na ng equipment natin or ng PPE. So figures to be considered is the cost or revalued amount. Second is the residual value or the value of the asset after its useful life. So kapag sinabing residual value, other term for this is salvage or scrap value. Okay? So ito daw yung, in theory, ito daw yung entity, the amount entity would currently obtain from the disposal of the asset after deducting the cost of disposal. So if the asset were already of age and in condition expected at the end of its useful life. So kapag third natin na kailangan i-consider is the estimated useful life. So si useful life, so it is the period over which the asset is expected to be available for use by the entity or the number of production or similar units expected to be obtained from the asset. So kapag sinabing useful life, hindi lang yan in years. So pwede ding through number of production or similar units. So mamaya madidiscuss natin kung bakit may mga ganong scenario. And then, lastly na kailangan mo i-consider is the assets pattern of use. So paano ba ginagamit yung asset na yon? Kasi pwedeng dun tayo mag-relay kung ano ba dapat yung useful life na meron siya. Okay? Okay. So, by nature, si depreciation, siya ay expense talaga. 'Di ba? Si depreciation expense talaga siya. Pero, pwede siyang hindi maging expense kapag, for example, yung depreciation mo na yun ay related sa production mo ng mga finished goods inventory, 'di ba? So, if meron ka kasing depreciation, minsan nagiging part siya ng MOH or manufacturing overhead na nagiging capitalized as value ng inventory na nagiging expense lang pag binenta. Pero by nature or by default, pag sinabing depreciation, most likely expense yan. Okay? So, moving forward, okay. So, meron daw may factors daw na kino-consider in determining the useful life of a said asset. So, sabi daw merong physical and then merong functional or economic factor. So, kapag physical, so nandun yung expected usage by the asset of the asset by the enterprise. Pangalawa, expected physical wear and tear. So, syempre, di ba, pag ginagamit mo yung isang bagay, most likely naluluma yan, di ba? And then, kailangan mo i-repair or kung ano man. And then, lastly, passage of time. May mga asset na kahit di mo ginagamit is through the passage of time, bababa yung value niya. Okay? Next is functional or economic factor. So, ito naman, so under naman nito is technical obsolescence. So, yung mga senaryo kasi na nagkakaroon ng bagong model ng mga machine. So, you need, pag mayroong ganun nangyayari, so, minsan, nasa-supersede niya na yung existing. So, sabihin, that determines kung hanggang kailan lang yung magiging buhay nung old asset na yun. Pwedeng ganun yung scenario. Next, inadequacy arising from changes or improvements. So, pwede naman na nagkakaroon daw ng change or improvement sa production, kaya kailangan na magbago ng product or service. So, ang nangyayari is hindi na adequate yung PPE na yun to produce that certain output. So, pwedeng maging determinant yun kung hanggang kailan na lang yung buhay ng asset na yun. And then lastly, legal or similar limits on the asset use. So, ang example nito, expiry dates of related leases. Okay? So, may mga legal time, okay, term. Okay. So, moving forward, sabi dito, ang PPE daw ay dinedepreciate over the useful life and such depreciation is recognized again as expense unless nagiging part ng inventory. Okay? So, sabi dito, before we proceed sa depreciation method, so sabi, if you look at page 104 ng ating reference book, so sabi dito, the depreciation of an asset begins when it is available for use. Okay? When it is in the location and condition necessary for it to be capable of operating in the manner intended by the management. So, hindi porket di mo siya ginagamit, hindi mo na siya i-depreciate. So, may mga PPE talaga or by default, si PPE, depreciate mo siya kapag ready for use na siya kahit di mo pa ginagamit. Okay? So, depreciation of an asset ceases at the earlier date the asset is derecognized. So, syempre, natapos yung depreciation kapag i-derecognize mo na yung asset. Okay? Or, yung certain asset na yun ay, or PPE na yun, ay i-reclassify mo ngayon as held for sale. Kapag, for example, yung held for use, naging held for sale na, so pwedeng pag ganun yung scenario, you need to end the depreciation for that certain asset. Okay? Okay, so next tayo. So, however, si depreciation daw continues even if the asset becomes idle. So, kahit maging matenga yung asset, kailangan mo pa rin siyang depreciate unless the asset is fully depreciated. Okay? Okay, so depreciation is recognized even if the fair value of the asset exceeds its carrying amount, as long as residual value does not exceed its carrying amount. So kahit yung depreciation daw, nire-recognize natin kahit na yung fair value mas malaki sa carrying amount. Kasi ang pinaka-concern lang natin dito, dapat yung carrying amount mo daw ay hindi uh, dapat daw hindi mag-exceed so dito as long as its residual value does not exceed its carrying amount. So as long as yung residual value is hindi mas malaki sa carrying value, so hindi tayo magtitigil ng depreciation. Kasi 'di ba ang residual value dapat yun yung maging parang pinaka-limit na value niya. Kasi yun yung assumption natin na value niya at the end. So kaya dapat yung carrying amount mo hindi siya bababa dun sa residual value. Okay? So, sabi dito, when the residual value of an asset increases, kapag tumaas doon yung residual value to an amount equal to or greater than the asset's carrying amount, so kapag yung residual value daw mas malaki na doon sa carrying amount, so the asset's depreciation charge is zero unless and unless and it until its residual value subsequently decreases to an amount below the asset's carrying amount. So ang ruling kasi talaga dapat si residual value hindi siya mag-exceed kay carrying amount. Dapat equal lang sila or mas malaki si carrying amount. Kasi ang goal at the end of the useful life si residual value yung value ni carrying amount natin. So dapat hindi nag-exceed si residual value kay carrying value. Kasi kapag mag-exceed na si residual value, you have to end the depreciation na. Kasi dapat yun yung magiging last value natin, si residual. Okay? So with regards to depreciation methods, so we have three. So we have time factor method. Next is activity or use factor. And then lastly is the multiple asset depreciation. So sabi dito, si depreciation method daw dapat na gagamitin should reflect the pattern in which the asset's future economic benefits are expected to be consumed by the enterprise. So marami tayong different methods ng depreciation. Pero again, dapat ang gagamitin mo is ano ba yung applicable or conducive dun sa actual talaga na gamit nung depreciate ng asset natin or ng PPE natin. Okay? So, under time factor method, so yung number one, yung pinakamadali sa lahat, ito yung familiar na kayo, which is straight line. And then second would be accelerated method. So, pag sinabing accelerated method, ibig sabihin, ang assumption dito is sa umpisa, mas madaming nakukuhang benefit dun sa asset na yun. So, sa umpisa, napakalaki ng depreciation niya and then throughout the years, papaliit siya. Unlike a straight line, is equally siya hanggang matapos yung life ng asset. So, yun yung accelerated methods natin. We have SYD, or sum of the years, digits method, double declining, 150% declining balance, and then declining balance method. So, under activity or use factor naman, we have service hours and then productive output. And then lastly, multiple asset depreciation, we have group or composite depreciation. Okay? So with regards to time factor method, so ang assumption nila dito, they consider the decline in the economic utility of the asset as mainly a function of time rather than a function of usage. So under time factor, ang assumption done is yung decline in the value of the asset is directly related to the to time, not to the usage of the certain asset. Okay? So let's proceed with the time factor methods or depreciation methods. So first would be the straight line. So straight line is the most common and widely used depreciation method in practice. So sabi dito, it assumes assets provide, again, equal economic benefits in each period of its estimated useful life. So in computing the straight line method, so you have to compute for the depreciable amount. Pag depreciable amount, kukumputin mo is cost or revalued amount less residual value over the estimated useful life in number of years. So, ganun lang siya kasimple. So, minsan may mga scenario din na hinihingi yung percentage na depreciation calculated using a rate. So, kumbaga, magkano yung depreciation rate. So, kapag ganun yung tinatanong, ang gagawin mo lang, anong sabi dito sa book natin? You have to compute 1 over n. Okay? So, 1 over useful life, yun yung depreciation rate. Okay, per year. 1 over n. Okay? Thus, pag sinabi, for example, 10-year life would use 10% of the depreciable amount. Or kapag 5 years naman, so it means 20% yung usage na every year. So, ganun yung sa straight line method natin. Okay? Okay, so next naman natin is the accelerated method, or other term would be decreasing charge method. So under this, they assume that assets provide higher economic benefits as mentioned ko kanina during early years of their useful life, thus providing higher depreciation expense in early years. So again, na-mention natin SYD, and then yung tatlong declining balance method natin, double, 150%, and then declining balance method. Okay. So, with regards to the sum of the years digit method, so paano ba kinocompute yung sum of the years digit method natin? So, you have to compute it by, again, using the depreciable amount multiplied by the remaining useful life at the beginning of year, and then over the sum of the digits in the life of the asset. So, for example, 3 years yung useful life. So it means you have to sum the digits in the life of the asset, which is 1 plus 2 plus 3. Diba? So 1 plus 2 plus 3, that would be 6. Okay? Pero may computation naman kung paano kinocompute yung sum of the digits in the life of the asset, which is itong nasa screen natin, which is n, or useful life, times n plus 1 over 2. So kung 3 yung na-mention natin, so 3 times 4, that would be 12 over 6 over 2, that would be 6. Okay? So ganun yung makakompute dun yung SYD natin, or sum of the years, or sum of the years digit. Okay? So in that case, for example, sa first year niya, depreciable amount, multiply mo lang sa 3. Kasi kapag sa first year niya, kasi 3 pa yung remaining life niya eh. So, depreciable amount times 3 over 6. So, ganun yung magiging computation mo sa first year under SYD. So, undepreciable amount na tinutukoy natin dito, ganun pa rin. Cost or valued amount, less residual value. Okay? So, ganun pa rin siya, yung sa sum of the years digits natin. Okay? So, while kapag pinag-uusapan naman natin ay declining balance, so yung double declining, 150% declining, tsaka si declining balance method, yung depreciable amount nila na based done is si carrying amount. Okay? So, carrying amount yung tinutukoy natin dan. Wait lang. Yeah. So, carrying amount times 2 over n. So, pag double declining, kung di ba kayo nasa straight line 1 over n, kapag double declining, 2 over n, yung depreciation rate natin. So, 2 over n, and then multiply mo sa depreciable amount, which is si carrying amount. Okay? So, kapag declining balance method, yung double 150 tsaka declining balance method, they ignore the residual value in computing the depreciation per year. Pero, at the end of its useful life or the last year niya, ang goal pa din, same nung sa ano natin, dapat ang carrying amount niya sa dulo is si residual value. Okay? So sa pagko-compute ng depreciation, di mo siya kino-consider si residual value, pero sa last year niya, dapat ang maging value pa rin niya ay residual value. Okay? So, ganun yung kakaiba kay declining balance. Residual value, hindi mo siya gagamitin sa pagko-compute ng depreciable amount kasi ang depreciable amount mo ay carrying amount. So, sa first year, ang depreciable amount mo, cost. Okay? Times 2 over n. And then sa second year, ang depreciable amount mo, edi cost less yung current mo na acum debt, and then times 2 over n ulit. So, ganun pa rin siya. Ganun lang siya pa ulit-ulit. Okay? So, kapag tinanong magkano pa yung depreciation, ma'am, at the last year niya. So, depreciation at the last year would be the difference between the carrying amount versus the residual value. Kasi again, yung dapat ang last value ng carrying value natin is si residual value. Okay? So, ganun yung nangyayari kapag double declining. So, kapag 150% declining balance, so ganun pa rin. Depreciable amount, which is the carrying amount pa rin, times 1.5 over n naman. While kapag declining balance, so ganito naman yung computation, wala pa rin tayong residual value na gino-compute dito sa depreciable amount. Cost pa rin yan initially sa first year, and then carrying amount moving forward. And then ang rate mo ay times 1 minus nth root of residual value over cost. So at the end of its useful life, makukuha mo na yung residual value niya ay magiging ang residual value niya or carrying value niya at the end of the useful life ay magiging residual value. Okay? So, ganun yung kapag declining balance method. Okay? Now, so let's proceed with the variable charge method before we proceed sa mga examples ng depreciation natin. So, variable charge method, so under this naman, it assumes that decline in assets economic utility is more of a function of use rather than a passage of time. So, opposite siya nung straight line and then si decreasing charge method. So, ang ginagawa nyo kapag variable charge method, kinocompute nyo yung rate per unit or per hour. And then, kapag ano yung makakompute mo, mumultiply mo na lang siya kung magkano yung unit or hour per year. Yun yung magiging depreciation niya. So, for example, kapag ang determinant mo kung paano mo siya magagamit is service hour. So, you have to compute for the rate per hour, which is depreciable amount lang over the total number of productive hours. So, yung depreciable amount dito, yung normal, cost less residual value. Okay? So, depreciable amount over the total number of productive hours. So, for example, over the course of its life, ang productive hours niya, 20,000. And then, so, kung ganun yung scenario, the depreciable amount over the total number of productive hours. So, you have now your rate per hour. So, you multiply that with whatever the hour per year is, and then yun yung magiging depreciation expense mo. Okay? Now, so kapag letter B naman, kapag ang determinant mo hindi productive hours but the units of output, so kapag ganun yung scenario, edi depreciable amount pa rin yung numerator mo, pero ang denominator mo would be total units of production na mapoproduce using that certain asset. Okay? So, depreciable amount over total units of production, yun yung magiging rate per unit mo, and then you multiply that from whatever it is na napoproduce per year, that would be your depreciation expense. Okay? So, yun yung meron sa variable charge method. Now, so we are aware of the ruling that kapag hindi simula ng taon nagkaroon ng pagbili ng asset, magiging partial year depreciation yung meron tayo. So, generally, ang pagko-compute ng depreciation ay based on the nearest full month. For example, kapag bumili ka ng January 15, pag bumili ka ng January 15, so ang nearest full month niya is January. Sabihin, January, mabubuo yung depreciation natin. While kapag, for example, January 17, so saan siya mas malapit? Sa 1 or sa 31? So, sa 31. So, sabihin, ang depreciation mo, mag-start ka na ng February. So, ganun siya. Nearest full month yung depreciation mo. Okay? So, when an asset is acquired, so yung nga na-mention ko kanina, or disposed at a date other than the beginning or end of the period, partial depreciation is required if company uses time factor method. So, kapag straight line or depreciation or what do you call the other one? The decreasing charge method yung ginagamit natin, you have to account for partial period depreciation. Okay? So, general rule, again, computed based on the nearest full month. Pero if si company, mayroon silang policy na may tatlo kasing pwedeng maging policy sila. So, number one is full year's depreciation is recognized in the year of acquisition and none on the year of disposal. So, sa policy na to, sa first year nung asset, kahit June 6 pa yan or kung anong month yan binili, ang magiging depreciation mo for the first year ay buo. Pero on the year na i-dispose na si asset na yon, since nabuo niya na nga yung depreciation ng first year or acquisition year, so sa disposal year, wala na siyang i-recognize na depreciation. So kabaligtaran niya yung number 2. So sa first year, wala siyang i-record na depreciation, pero at the year of disposal, doon naman niya bubuuin yung depreciation for that year. Okay? And then lastly would be half-year depreciation. So pag ganun yung scenario, half-year, nare-recognize kung kahit January pa yung binili or kahit for example, December yan binili, ang ginagawa, half-year depreciation is recognized in the year of acquisition and another half would be recognized in the year of disposal. So, kumbaga yung number 1, full year sa year of acquisition, none sa disposal. Number 2, none sa acquisition, full sa disposal. And then number 3, tig half sila. So, ganun yung mga pwedeng naging policy or may policy yung isang company. Pero again, by default, general rule, depreciation is computed based on the nearest full month. Okay? Now, let's proceed sa ating examples. Okay? I'll try to annotate. Okay, so let's proceed. So sabi dito, ang illustration natin on July 1, 2024, so partial to, no? ABC company purchased a piece of equipment costing 500,000. So, ang cost mo, 500. The asset has an estimated residual value. So, may residual value siya na 50,000 at the end of its estimated useful life of 5 years. So, you have your data. You have the cost, 500, residual, 50, useful life, 5 years. So, the asset was used productively for 2,000 hours in 2024 and 4,200 in 2025, producing 3,200 in 2024 and 6,800 units in 2025. Total productive hours and total estimated production units are 20,000 hours and then 30,000 units. So, ito yung mga data natin. Bakit? Ba't binigay yung mga productive hours na yan? Kasi mayroon tayong depreciation methods na magagamit dito. Yung first 4 would be galing dun sa ating time factor. And then the other 2 would be yung variable natin. Okay? Now, so ano yung hinahanap sa atin? So, hinahanap sa atin is the first year depreciation expense and then the next year depreciation expense and then the carrying value at December 31, 2025. So, ayun yung hinihingi sa atin. Okay? So, doon muna tayo sa number letter A, straight line. So again, kapag straight line yung kinakompute natin, depreciable amount which is cost less residual over useful life lang tayo. Okay? So in this case, anong sabi dyan? 500 yung cost, so minus 50,000 lang. So for 50,000 yun, and then divided by 5 years, makuha mo yung per year na depreciation. Pero since July 1 yung nangyari dan, nearest full month, so sabihin, ang depreciation mo starting July. So July, August, September, October, November, December, that would be 6 months. So kaya, 450 divided by 5 times 6 over 12, so you now have 45,000 pesos. Okay? Okay. So, after nun, so sa year, as a number 2 natin, 2025 na yung hinahanap. So, since straight line lang to, edi yung annual year depreciation per year lang yung kailangan mo. So, 450 over 5, that would be 90,000. So, if you are asked magkano yung asset carrying value on December 31, 2025, so cost mo 500, akong debt mo 45 plus 90. So, you have 365,000 carrying value ng uh, 2025. Okay? So, ganun siya. Okay. So, malinaw po tayo dun. So, pwedeng gawin nyo din, for example, no? I don't have my calcu with me. So, I'll try. I'm not sure. Wait lang. I'm not sure if I can. Okay. 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 So, for example, no, hinahanap natin again, di ba, yung carrying value, meron ka na 365,000. Or, pwede mong gawin dan is yeah, you compute for the magkano yung depreciation natin. So 1.5 years, 'di ba? So 1.5 years yung parang na-depreciate as of 2025. So pwedeng gawin mo doon. So 450, wait lang. So 5 less 1.5. So 3.5 yung remaining niya. So 450 times 3.5 over 5. So 315 and then you have to add the residual value. So 365 yung carrying value. So pwedeng ganun din yung computein mo pag hahanapin mo yung carrying value. Okay? For example, ang ano mo naman is, for example, 2026 yung hinahanap mo tapos wala ka pang computationan. So pwedeng gawin mo naman doon, edi 2.5 years na yung depreciate niya. So 6 sorry, 5 minus 2.5, ibig sabihin 2.5 na lang yung remaining life niya, 'di ba? So 2.5 over 5 times 450, so 225 yun, and then plus 50,000. Sabihin, ang carrying value as of 2026 naman, 275,000. So pwedeng ganun yung gawin nyo. Okay? Kung ayun yung computin pa yung ano niya. Okay? So next tayo, I'll I'll annotate again. Okay, so kapag tinanong magkano yung carrying value at the end of its useful life, so ang kakampitin mo lang or sabihin mo lang 50,000, which is yung residual niya. Okay? Ganun yung mangyayari doon. So letter B naman, so sum of the years digits method. So na-mention natin, 'di ba? Ano siya, depreciable amount din. And then times kung ilang years yung remaining at the beginning of the life of that year, and then over n times n plus 1 over 2. So in that case, tong 15 na to, so magkano, ilang years tayo? 5. So 5 times n plus 1, which is 6 over 2, 30 over 2, so 15. So kaya 15 yung naging denominator mo dan. And then sa first year ng life niya, di ba, 5 years pa yung natitira. So kaya 5 tong numerator natin. So depreciable amount times 5 over 15, that would be the annual depreciation, and then multiply mo by 6 over 12. So ibig sabihin, is 75,000 yung depreciation expense natin for the year 2024. Okay? Now, kapag ang tanong naman is number 2, 2025 yung hinahanap natin na depreciation expense. So, ganun pa rin. So, di ba, kalahating taon na yung lumipas. Ibig sabihin, sa simula ng 2025, yung 5 years niya, nabawasan na ng 0.5. Kasi na, di ba, lumipas na yung kalahating taon. So, 4.5 na lang siya nung beginning. So, kaya numerator niya, 4.5. Same pa rin ng denominator, which is si 15. And then, times 450,000 yung depreciable amount. So, ang depreciation expense for year 2025 ay 135,000. So, pag hinanap yung carrying value, ganun pa rin. So, 75, plus 135, so 210 yun. So, 500 less 210, makuha mo na si 290,000 pesos. Okay? So, ganun siya. Okay? So, malinaw ba tayo doon? So, ibig sabihin, as of December 31, 2025, ang lumipas na ay 1.5 year na yung lumipas. Okay? So, ibig sabihin yun yung magiging carrying value niya noong 2025. So, you can still compute that moving forward using the same formula. Okay? So, pag tinanong magkano yung carrying value at the end of the useful life, so ganun pa rin. So, 50,000 pa rin yun. Kasi may ginamit na nga natin siya, di ba? Nung nag-depreciate tayo, yung 450 lang. So, pag natapos na, ubos yung 450, 50 na lang yung matitira. Okay? So, sa double declining balance method naman, so depreciable amount lang siya. And then, times C, 2 over N. 2 over N. So, yung N mo ay 5. So, 2 divided by 5. So, yun ay 40%. So, kaya 40% yan. And then, yung cost mo again ay yun yung initial mo na depreciable amount. And then sa next year, ang gagamitin mo na is yung carrying value na. So sa first year, magkano depreciation expense? So 500 yung cost times 40% times 6 over 12. So 100,000 yung mga compute natin dun sa number one natin na depreciation expense. So, sa year number 2 naman, pag inahalat naman yung depreciation expense, edi ganun pa rin. So, 500 less yung 100,000 na depreciation na. So, 400 na lang siya. Times 40%. So, that would be 160,000. So, yung depreciation expense natin ng year 2025. So, pag hinanap, magkano ang carrying value as of December 31, 2025? So, add mo lang tong dalawang to, 260. So, you will now have carrying value of 240,000. So, another pwedeng yung gawin dan, I'm gonna get my calcu again. Mas may calcu. Hindi pala siya nakapin. Wait lang. Ipin ko lang. Okay. So, another natin is, wait lang. Saan na eh? Okay. So, for example, so pag tinanong magkano daw yung carrying value ng December 31, 2025, pwedeng gawin mo na lang is, di ba 500 yung cost mo, times, pwedeng pag kuwari hinahanap pala yung depreciation expense, pwedeng 500 times 40% yung depreciation, di ba? So, times 60 mo na lang. Sorry. Ano pala? 60% divided by 2 pala muna. Ay, 40%, sorry. 40% divided by 2, kasi di ba 6 over 12? Nagsabihin, ano ba? Wait lang. 20%. So, kalahati ng 40%, 20%. So, 500,000, 20% pala yung depreciate ng first year. So, ito yung carrying value as of 2024. And then times 0.60 noong 2025. Kasi 'di ba 40% yan. Eh, paghahanapin mo yung carrying value, yung counterpart nun niya para maging 100. So, kapag hinanap yung carrying value in 2025, so, you have 240. So, pag hinanap yung 2026, so, times uli ng 0.60. 2026, 144. Nakailang taon na tayo? Ito, 5, 6. So, times uli ng 0.60. So, 86.4 ng next na ano natin, 86.4. So, 51.84. So, sabihin sa last year, ang depreciation mo na lang dapat 1.84. Kasi dapat maging 50,000 yung residual niya sa last year. So, nung beginning ng last year, 51.84 yung kanyang value. So, dapat 1.84 na lang yung magiging depreciation nun. Okay? So, dapat at the last year ng depreciation niya is hindi ka na magko-compute. Dapat yung ano na lang, difference ng carrying value dun sa residual value. So, kaya yun yung magiging mangyayari kapag kapag nag-compute ng carrying value for the last year. Okay? Under double declining. So, I'm gonna remove the annotation. Then, let's proceed sa next natin, which is, okay? So, next natin, same pa rin ng given, yung meron tayo, pero nag-iba lang yung pag-computation. So, ganun pa rin, cost, residual, 5 years, 2024, for 3,000 units, 6, 8, 10, 20, 30. Okay? So, sa 150% declining, ganun pa rin. So, kung ano yung ginawa natin kanina, ganun pa rin. So, pwede mo pa rin gamitin yung shortcut na minensyon ko kanina pag naghahanap ka ng carrying value. So, yung cost, multiply mo lang sa depreciation, sa 100 less yung depreciation for the first year. And then, times mo lang sa 70% times 70% times 70% times 70%. Makakuha mo yung carrying value niya as of a certain year. Okay? So, ganun pa din siya. So, letter E, so variable na to. Hindi na to time factor. So, kapag variable naman, so again, na-mention kanina, per hour, kukumpitin mo yung per hour. Okay? So, in that case, depreciation per hour natin. So, 450 pa rin depreciable natin, di ba? Cost less residual over the total hours. Ito yun, 20,000. So, ang rate niya, 22.50 per hour. So, sa first year, anong sabi? 2,000 hours. So, 2,000 times 2250. So, 2025, sabi, 42. Eh, di 42 times 2250. So, add mo lang sila. Yun yung acum dep ng common carrying value. Same with units of output. So, 450 over the total units na 30,000. So, makuha mo si 15. So, first year, 3.2 yung na-produce, so multiply mo doon, yun yung depreciation. Same with 2025, which is 6.8. So, 102 yung depreciation natin. Okay. So, add mo lang sila, yun yung ACOM debt, 500 less ACOM debt, you have now your carrying value as of December 31, 2025. Okay? So, malinaw po tayo doon. So, let's proceed sa ating group and composite depreciation. So, sabi dito, these are adopted by enterprises with multiple items, depreciable, PPE, essentially uses straight line method. So, kapag group and composite method, most likely ay ginagamit daw to kapag madami silang items. Okay? So, ang ginagawa dito, yung certain asset, dinidepreciate nila ng straight line method and then pinag-a-add nila. So sabi dito, letter A, group depreciation method, all similar assets are grouped and treated as a single unit for depreciation purposes. Kumbaga yung lahat ng value niya, yun yung magiging yun yung magiging single asset na i-depreciate nila through straight line method. Okay? While kapag composite naman, depreciation method, so ang nangyayari dito, several dissimilar assets are grouped and treated as a single unit for depreciation purposes. So sa group depreciation, similar assets are grouped and treated as single. Ito naman, several dissimilar assets are grouped and treated as a single unit. So dito, sa composite depreciation, may kinakompute tayo ditong composite life tsaka composite rate. Pag kinakompute mo yung composite life, gagawin mo dyan is kakampitin mo yung total depreciable cost ng assets na yon, which is asset less yung residual value nila. So, kung ano yung total depreciable cost nila, divide mo sa total annual depreciation nila, which is, paano makakompute yun? E di kung ano yung asset over the life nila. So, yun yung total annual depreciation nila. So, total mo lang yung total annual debt nila. So, total depreciation, depreciable cost over total annual depreciation, yun yung composite life. Okay? And then kapag hinahanap yung composite rate, so ang gagawin mo lang, kung magkano yung total annual debt, over mo lang sa total cost ng assets na yun. Okay? So may mga scenario na merong nagkakaroon ng bentahan. For example, ginroup mo na yung certain na assets. So kapag ibebenta mo ngayon yun, paano na? Kasi 'di ba ang nangyayari, din-depreciate mo sila by group. Paano pa nagbenta ka ng certain assets? So sabi dito, if ganun yung scenario, if sold, ang gagawin mo na lang, magkano yung cost, ilaless mo yung selling price, yun yung ACOM debt. Okay, magkano yung cost ng certain asset na yun na under the composite or group, less mo lang sa selling price, yun yung assumption mo na ACOM debt. Okay, so ganun lang siya. Again, same dun sa ruling natin na dapat hindi mag-exceed si residuals kay carrying value. So si depreciation daw, dapat daw i-discontinue when such would result to a carrying amount of the assets in the group lesser than their total residual value. So dapat yung carrying amount ng group hindi bababa dun sa total residual value. Okay? So, dapat laging mas mataas si carrying value kay residual value or equal lang. Okay? Kapag mag-exceed na si residual, so dapat discontinue na yung depreciation. Okay? So, let's proceed. So, ito yung under the group or composite depreciation method. Okay, so anong sabi dan? Meron daw 4 machines. Okay? And then may cost, may residual, and then may life in years. Okay, so paano ang ginagawa dyan? So, minsan kasi, no, kaya ginugrouping para mas madali. Ganun yung ginagawa sa kanila. So, sabi dan, may cost, may residual. So, considering the cost and the residual, you have not the depreciable cost. And then you have the life in years. Wait lang. The life in years. And then, para makompute yung annual debt, so ganun pa rin. So, depreciable cost over life in years. So, you have now your annual depreciation. So, you have to total that. May total annual debt ka na, total depreciable cost, and then total residual, and then total cost. Okay? So, na-mention ko kanina, kapag kukumpitin yung composite life, so total depreciable cost lang over the total annual depreciation. So, ito yun. So, sabihin, by doing that, you have 6.47 composite life or 6.5 years. And then composite rate naman, so divide mo lang yung total annual debt over the total cost na 750. Okay? So you have now your composite rate na 12.37. Okay? So in that case, total cost 750 and then multiply mo lang sa 12.37 na ating composite rate. 750 times 12.37, that would be 92,775. Let's vouch kung tama. Wait lang. 750 times 0.1237 into 775. Okay? So, ganun siya. Okay, so that would be it. So, under the group or composite, so yun na-mention ko kanina, kapag nabenta, so ang mangyayari, cost lang, less yung selling price, yun yung magiging, ano mo, accum dep. So, ayan, makikita nyo dyan. So, ganun yung nangyari dun sa entry dyan. Okay? So, depreciation is continued when such a result. Wait lang. Okay. So when such would result to a carrying amount of the assets in the group lesser than their total residual value. So dapat hindi daw magle-less sa 150. Okay? Kasi kapag nag-less na dan, yung carrying value, dapat hindi mag-less. So dapat you discontinue na the depreciation kapag magle-lesser na sa 150 yung carrying value niya. Okay? So I think we have the last topic remaining, which is C, component depreciation. So kung kanina ginagrupo yung mga asset and then dinidepreciate ng magkakasama. So wait lang. So take note pala class ha, yung nag-compute ng depreciation dito, cost times yung composite rate. No, hindi depreciable cost na 600 times composite rate. Ha? Okay, malito doon kapag group or composite yung ginagamit na method. Now, so sa component depreciation naman, so each part of an item of PPE with a significant cost in relation to the total cost of the item shall be depreciated separately. Okay? So kumbaga, no. Okay. So again, sa component depreciation, so each part of sorry, wait lang. Each part of an item of PPE equipment na merong malaking cost or significant cost in relation sa total cost ng certain PPE na yun shall be depreciated separately. So if you look here, so may example tayo dito. So for example, ang binili aircraft, so alam naman natin na medyo mahal 'di ba yan or malaking value yan. So cost daw niya 50 million and then si aircraft purchase price includes passenger seats ang costing 2 million and the engine costing 10 million. Both the seats and the engine are expected to be replaced after 5 years of continuous use, while the remainder of the aircraft is expected to have a useful life of 15 years. So the aircraft, other than the engine and the passenger seats, has a residual value of 3.5 million. And then the engine may residual na 200 at the 5 years, and then the residual value of the seats is considered not material. So in that case, ito yung value natin. 2 million plus yung 10 million, and then yung remainder from the 50 million, 38 million. Ayan yung cost ng airplane natin. So in computing using the component depreciation, so i-depreciate natin sila separately. So si passenger seat, 2 million, magkano yung residual? Magkano daw yung residual nung passenger seat? So sabi, not material. So kaya 2 million over 5, that will be 400,000. And then sa engine, 10 million minus 200,000 divide by 5 pa rin. So you have 1,960. And then other parts, 38 million, which is itong nakumpit natin kanina, less than 3.5 over the 15 years, 2.3. So sabihin, ang total depreciation for that year would be 4,660,000 pesos. Okay? So, ganun yung meron kapag component depreciation is kapag malaki yung total value ng PPE and then yung mga certain na laman niya is significant din yung cost and then meron different sila na depreciation life or useful life. Okay? So, that ends our depreciation. So, homework, please do answer 2-19 and 2-21 as practice of what we learned today. So that's all, class. Thank you so much.